Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Total War Reunited Kingdom campaign. In the last episode, we have acquired a Protectorate in the form of Harondor. This is excellent news. This is a way for us to make money off of them. This is a way for us to seal off our southern border with Harad, but only for as long as we can keep it. And this is the problem that I'm running into. Now, this is still the same turn, but I have reloaded because I have found that unfortunately we're running into a bit of problem this time. Here's what typically happens. If we look at our diplomacy, we can see that our vassal Harondor is allied with a couple of other factions. They're allied with the Dunabar and they are allied with Far Harad. The problem with them being allied with the Dunabar is we were, until we got Harondor as our protectorate, we were at war with the Dunabar. And although that war was kind of winding down, especially in the north, there's still a threat that the Dunabar may attack us. And usually what happens in this scenario is if your vassal is allied with you and another faction that you are at war with, if that other faction is the one that starts the war, they're going to side with that other faction. If, on the other hand, you are the one who starts the war, they will typically side with you. That happens like 90% of the time, in my experience. However, there are these rare occasions where it doesn't work out that way, and I have no idea why that is. So what I have found out, unfortunately, by testing is that if there's an Adunabar army right here, okay? They're in the trees. If I take this army, and I'll show you what happens. I'll go over here, we'll attack neutral faction, and we've got war with the Reunited Kingdom and Adunabar. They're going to retreat, and we lost our Protectorate. They're no longer allied with us, which means we've lost the overlordship. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just reload from that point, and I'm going to try something. This is the very turn that we got the Protectorate. And so this attack usually is something that I try on the very same turn because I want to make sure that I strip the allies of my new vassal to make sure that, you know, I'm not going to get attacked and thus lose the Protectorate. But I'm wondering if maybe there's a chance we can get this to work if we attack Adunabar on a later turn. Now, looking around the map, we can see that Adunabar does border me up here, but they have not shown too much interest in attacking Athelion. And it looks like Rohan's actually moving in on them, and they're still fighting with Rovanian. In the north, it doesn't look like Adunabar is interested in attacking me that much either, although they do have a couple of armies right here. So what I might do is just kind of wait and see if Adunabar is going to do anything. And if not, we'll get a few extra turns of peace and tribute from our Protectorate. And otherwise, then, well, if the absolute worst case scenario holds and we lose our Protectorate in the following turn, we've still made like 40,000 Mirian off of them. So I think that's still a win. We've also completely neutered the opposition of Harondor, and we can easily keep them contained down here, even with these couple of fairly understrength stacks. The money that we've got now can go into bankrolling further developments and getting more military units down here so we can keep them under wraps, kind of acting as a buffer state even as we continue to move down the coast to Umbar. So that's going to be the plan. Now, I'm going to just hold off. The financial sheet here is probably confused. It's saying that we are projected to make to double our money next season, basically. 173,000 is what that's saying we're projected to make. Now, this is based on the tribute that we got from getting our Protectorate at the end of the last episode, this very turn. It's almost certain that Harondor is not going to give us that much money again, because if they could have given it to us, I think they already would have. The AI vassals have a certain amount of money above which they donate all the rest of to you. So that's kind of how that works. In an ideal situation, what we would do is keep Harondor down there, keep their trade routes open, and encourage them to build up their provinces, maybe even gift them some more territory as we conquer lands in Harad that we don't want, and thus make it so that they can continue to provide us with tribute. I'm not sure that's going to be possible, but if nothing else, we did get a quite substantial amount of cash from them, and so we'll see what comes in the next season. Because of this weirdness down here, I'm not quite sure how I want to handle this. We do have an emissary, and we've got so much money now that we could just start probably bribing people. But we do have a problem. This is the Captain General of the Kingdom of Adunabar, and he's, I believe, the heir. So this guy's not the heir, and we can't even bribe him. So I think it's just prohibitively expensive, is what it seems to be. So that's unfortunate. I don't know of any way to deal with that, but it could simply be that they are moving through my territory, because Adunibar actually does not have any territory here. They lost Imladris to, looks like Elven, well, to a rebellion. I'm not quite sure, you know, it's not elves, but it's some rebel faction that controls this. So they may just be moving through, and we don't share a border up here in the north anymore, so maybe we'll just be fine. Yeah, I guess. Let's just end the turn. Hope they don't attack up there. Whoops. We've got a halt there. And we're bringing this army up to retrain. I think it's some mariners. Okay, Harad wants a ceasefire. I think I've hurt their military and their navy quite a bit. So yeah, let's do a ceasefire for 10,000, as is customary. All right, Adunibar, don't attack me. They didn't attack me. And we have almost 200,000 in the bank now. Okay. Let's see what we got for our last season report in terms of tribute. Okay, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, I mean, we didn't make 177,000 last... Oh, well, maybe, I guess, the season before we did. Okay, I don't know. It's a little weird. But we're... let's see what our projected profits are. Yeah, much more modest. Only 17,000 the following season. We'll see. It'll probably be quite a bit lower. So we actually got ceasefire with just about everybody, and fortunately, Rune and Adunibar are at war. That's excellent news. I've been waiting to see if that would happen, and that's great. Rohan is now conquering Mid-Deeping. Okay, and now Adunibar has even less incentive to come into Athelion. So I'm hopeful that they'll, well, maybe they'll head east, or maybe Rune will head west. I'd rather fight Rune than Adunibar in some ways. Okay, this guy in Mornan is attuned. Great news. And so again, I'm not sure how long we're going to keep the Protectorate, but we can at least try to hold on as long as possible. And we're making a decent amount of cash from trade with Harad. Let's see what we have here. We did retrain those mariners, so we'll put them right here. And let's bring him down. We'll bring him over to Lynn here, and then eventually get them across, I guess, down to Harandor. So now we're seeing Harandor moving its troops around. They're not going to break free unless they side with another faction, right? I've never had a vassal simply inform me that they're no longer under my thumb. I think they can cancel an alliance, but that basically never happens. I'm not sure exactly why, but that's how I'm seeing it. Okay, so we're making so much money that, you know, now it might be time to do something that I kind of never do. The Tower of the Moon. Developing this costs 50,000 Mirian, and it takes 40 seasons. So I very rarely have the cash to do it, but given the fact that over the past few turns we've kind of doubled our income thanks to getting that vassal, we can do this. What this will do is allow Minas Ithil to act as a proper city. You know, now there's really not much we can do with it. We need to build the Tower of the Moon before we can build even the pacification and then the provincial control. That's going to make money, and then we'll be able to get a bunch of units out of this, including Rangers of Athelion. So that'll be great to have, and hopefully we'll have the time to develop that. Now, what I would love to see is for these units of Adunibar to just go away.
Yes, Master. Moving, Your Honor.
But I want to keep a spy up here. I want to bring my army down here, and maybe they will. Maybe this presence of this army will encourage them to move off. But they may be trying to get up to like Karn Doom or something. But if so, they haven't moved, although they could. So we'll see if that works. The thing that I'm thinking about doing is mostly throwing a bunch of money at a Dunabar. Apart from those family members, we could start buying towns. And I think, Lathron would be a good one to potentially bribe. Let's wait for the next turn. I want to get another emissary up around, up into Rovanian, and then we'll see if we can start purchasing some territory from them. And with all of our cash, we can actually put some investment into Harn Gond as well. We're going to need to get it to a major province before we can get our really cool units, those Harondor Outriders. And so let's see if this guy is attuned. He is. It's only 11,000. I mean, that doesn't seem like that much right now. Let's get something down here so we can train just low-tier footmen, and then we'll work from there. Okay, it looks like we're still not at war with the Dunabar. Alright, let's take... Oh, he's got a letter from the king. +2 authority, he's tactful. Great. This will be the guy we send north. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a lot of Adunabar armies, but I think it'll be useful to get Lathron. Let's see, I don't need to bribe it, I don't think. We can maybe just try a deal with them. Okay, Tharbad is causing trouble in 3 ways. I got rid of that that income screen too quickly, because I wanted to check the last season's report to see how much tribute we got. This is a pretty fair assumption, though, that we got several thousand in tribute. And so, again, we're making quite decent money at this point in the game. And this army's staying right there. This army I've got to keep my eye on too. But once you get a protectorate and you've got funds, you can kind of rest easy in terms of money. All right, so there we go. We'll get the new Miramar. And I'll go ahead and risk sending them down this way. Speaking of sending them down, though, it is time to work on training. Let's get some longbowmen here. And we've got Rangers of Athelion, we've got White Company, awesome stuff. These guys are not even super expensive. They're half as expensive as the King's Longbowmen. There are the same numbers of them. And they've got a little worse defense, but better attack in melee. Same missile attack, though. Let's check out the range. 175 for them, 180 for the longbowmen. So the longbowmen are a bit better in terms of range, in terms of defense. These guys are a bit better in terms of melee attack and half as expensive. They also get a combat bonus in the woods. They also have good stamina, so they can perform better, I think, in some ways and in some situations than the longbowmen can. So I think we'll get a mix going. We'll get some Lasarnik axemen too. We'll get some regular bowmen down here. And here, and, let's get some Dol Amroth men-at-arms, I think. Or do we want to go for Knights of Dol Amroth? That'd be another... let's go Mariners. Mariners are pretty straightforward. We'll just get a few of those. Still looks like we're making 15,000. Okay. We could do this, cut down a little bit of mismanagement. That saves us some money. These guys are still just hanging around, so I really don't like it. But one of our thoughts was to get this army down towards Tharbad anyway. I think we'll take this opportunity. We'll bring the cavalry over to Numinas, where I think we can retrain them. And if we get surprise attacked, like around, around here, I think we'll be okay. But maybe we can get Turn for Vane started on something, because I don't like it just being up there without a wall even. It's got the lowest population, so it's never going to get any worse, but still, we should get going. Alright, still got 11,000 to spend, I guess. Okay, Bree, what do we want to do here? Probably a merchant square. That would get us a scout. Pretty expensive, but 300 Mirian. So I think over time that's gonna pay for itself. All right, anything cheap we can do in Eminarnon? Yeah, I guess we could go with wineries. It's going to get a little bit of trade, but not much. It's going to cost us in land tax, but also not much. I'm not sure that it's worth it, though. Let's go with this because, okay, this is actually technically Shadow Cult territory. Let's see what this guy's... Yeah, he's Shadow Touched as well. Okay. Well, I think it's good to get this converted. So we'll work on it. All right, Rune wants trade. We can't trade with them, though. We'll hold off. All right, Harad's moving up. I'm okay with Rohan getting mid-deeping. In fact, that's kind of excellent, because they're going to be at war with the Dunabar. Dunabar still has this, so even if I take Lathron through diplomacy, Rohan will still have a channel to attack a Dunabar through. All right, we did a lot of training. We'll go with another, I guess, another longbowman. And let's, oh, we just lost a family member up here, so that's gonna hurt. Let's go with a cheaper unit then. We'll go with a unit of Gondorian horsemen, another unit of archers. Let's do swordsmen here, and here, yeah, let's do another mariner unit. Yeah, Bregoles of Lasarnak finally died. Oh, and once again, I forgot to check, but see how the tribute's going down? The projected tribute, at any rate, is expected to be quite a bit lower than it was last turn. So that's all right. We spent a lot of money. What are we going to make this turn? Just 5,000, according to that. Captain. Okay. We also want to check the diplomacy of Harandor in terms of Harad. They're allied with Far Harad, which is great because Far Harad is at war with Harad. So that means that Harandor is probably not going to fight Harad, or they're probably not going to ally with Harad, rather. So what do I want to do? Well, we're training guys. We're going to be sending them down, and I think the next goal is just Umbar, just straight for Umbar. We've got some decent forces here. Ingol of Belfalis is seasoned. He's shadow touched, which kind of stinks. He's maimed. He's grievously wounded. It would be great to send him down south and do some damage to Harad. Let's keep these forces around here because we're probably going to need to fight them pretty soon. We could bribe them, I think. Oh my gosh, 113,000. I'm not sure if bribery is based on, like, the value of the units or how much money you happen to have in your treasury. It's kind of unfortunate, but I think the latter might be the case. I'm feeling it might be useful to have another New Maramar here just for transport purposes. And everywhere else we're training. Look at all these massive forces of Rohan. This is a little intimidating.
Splitting the troops. Off the boats.
Alright, we've got another suitable husband, but he's shadow touched as well. I think we need to start getting rid of shadow touched guys. We are going to be short on family members in a little while because I think we're close to losing like a generation. But that's fine. Alright, Pelargia, we've got a couple of archers. I'm thinking these guys I might want to send over here. And we do have some rangers all set up. Alright, Rohan took mid-deeping. They're probably going to push into Rovanosd. And Adunabar's taken up to the East Bight. Good for them. Also good for me. Alright, let's see how Eminarnen's looking. We got those town councils finished. I don't think that's enough to flip. No, it's still technically shadow touched, but the next level would get it there, I think. Yeah, 60%. So we may hold off on this for a little while. Let's see. Let's check out this report. What did we make in tribute? Oh, 8,000 last season, so that's better than expected. And so we're expected to make 5 grand in tribute. So that's now half of our income is tribute approximately from Harondor, which is very, very nice. But it does mean that it's a little vulnerable. Okay, I want to take one of these guys. Well, do we have any loose family members just kicking around, not doing anything? I don't think so. I think they're all performing valuable functions. I think we'll have some comings of age. We'll have maybe some other adoptions. Maybe I'll take the next one, but it might be useful to have all of these guys with us heading down south. So we've got a very, very formidable cavalry force. How many men? 37 in these Dol Amroth men-at-arms. We're looking at unit sizes in the 20s. So 24 and 10. Ugh. Alright, I think I'll have these guys go back up to be retrained. And maybe we'll go with just some more archers to join them. All right, do we want to take the New Miramar? Nah, we'll take these guys. If we head down with this force, that's pretty strong. You know, it's not super elite or anything, but it's got a good mix of infantry and cavalry. So let's train another scout in here. And I'll actually send him down right now. And we want to send the rogue down to sort of get a sense for what Harad has. Not seeing like big armies around here. They don't have anybody on boats yet. Let's get this ship down here. What do we have? Okay, it's looking pretty weak. So if we can just confirm that, we can just time our armies in a reasonable way. What do we want here? I guess another unit of cav would be nice. Bring this army, I think, down south. They can join with this one. And we can, yeah, actually, we can take one of these guys. We've got a lot of, this guy's mature, youthful, mature. Let's take the youthful guy. He's inept and incompetent, but, I was thinking maybe we want someone up here. Alright, let's see. Give province... Whoops. Oh yeah, we're demanding. Okay. So I'm interested in Lathron. I'm interested in trade rights. Do I really want to intimidate... How about I'll give you map information? They want trade. 35,350. That's much more reasonable. What if it was just a straight deal? Like, I will give you 10,000. They want 18,000 and trade. Alright, what about not trade? Alright. Okay, now, I may have just made a big error. Because they may attack me here to get it back. We got some Ravanian Rider mercenaries, which is unexpected. You know, I think we could hold it, but that's not the question. The question is, can we deter them from attacking in the first place? So maybe I shouldn't have done this. But we did get it from them. It's got town councils already. So this is it's technically Shadow Cult. Well, it's not hurting anything right now. We can get some men up there. And I think I will send this guy up.
Move out. No more moves, sir. Move out.
But we do have Harad, I think, heading north. So again, I just want to double check that they're not allied with anybody that I care about. They're allied with Rune. That's it. That's fine. Up around Last Bridge, we've still got these Adunabar armies just hanging out. Otherwise, nothing going on.
Yes, Captain. Move out. Move out. No more moves, sir. Onward.
So I don't really know of a way to get rid of them. They don't seem to want to move. We're at peace. It's frustrating. I'd love to get them away. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, I don't think they attacked us anywhere. It's Far Harad. See, we still have Lathron. It's not under siege. The army has moved away. That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Alright, we've got another Scout in Harngon, but he's just replacing the guy who we just brought out here.
My way. Secrecy is assured.
And let's just move around and see if we can detect any armies.
On my way.
There are none.
Position. Move depleted, sir.
We do have a fleet here, but it has nobody on it, so they may simply... be heading up to, you know, knock out a port or something, which is, you know, not the worst thing they could do. It would disrupt my trade. Alright, turn for Vane. We want to take care of that. Let's see, what did we make last time in tribute? Oh my gosh, 11,000. Is that right? Yeah, I guess we're up to 159 grand again. Alright, so we'll spend this in Fiefdom Dominion. That's going to make us a little bit of cash. A little bit, with the mismanagement factored in. We're only scheduled to make 3,700. But maybe these guys will leave once they realize we're right here. Maybe that's it, because I was standing on rebel territory, technically. And I'm just happy to see that Tharbad is not actually doing anything. Okay, let's keep the fleet moving. Where's the fleet? Right here. Yeah, it's fine. We're going to grab a couple of mercs. How about that? We'll just keep this fleet headed south. And I think we want to land them right next to Umbar so that we can attack that very turn. We don't want to land here and sort of telegraph what we're going to do. This is a scout. I'm going to move him over here. I want to see where the armies are. Okay, they're headed towards Khand. Oh, great. It looks like Khand sacked this territory. So this is under siege, but it's rebel. It was in Harad's hands, and there's no way Harad lost it just to rebellion. So they probably... Oh, actually, maybe they did, because they're suffering rebellion out here, too. This is great. It's going to keep them very busy. This is lost, too. This is rebel territory, but it's under siege, so I'm not sure who owns it now. But we do have the hordes up in this part of the world. It looks like, as is usual for hordes, they have been pretty depleted after wandering around and probably sacking a few of these places. But we've got Farharad down here under siege. They're probably not going to be too much longer, which is sad. I like to keep them around. Okay, let's see if we can get some... I don't know, something else going. I think this Harmen, you know, we're just going to wait on that. We can train our footmen of Harad levies right now. So that is probably a really good move, because we've got, you know, we've got some garrison stuff that needs to happen, needs to be replaced. And with that, I think we may as well just keep going up the military chain. Oh, that's right, we've got our army. We're heading north, but there's a Haradrian army right at Minas Anor. Well, that's why I was training up those guys. Alright, they want trade. Of course, we're going to say no. At some point, we're going to get Tharbad. Coming of age at Lastbridge. Oh, perfect. He's not great or anything, but, you know, I'll take it. He's a patron of the West. He's a man of Arnor. This is actually... He is actually terrible. I'm looking at this. Bad for trade. He's unlearned, so he's going to get a bunch of penalties. It's probably best if he's not here at all. So let's put him with the army.
Joining forces. Orders.
Alright, Dunabar and Farharad are allying. Ravanian and Rune are allying, which is great. And we've got Dol Amroth units trained up. Bree has finished the merchants. Oh, and I forgot to see how much tribute we were getting. Yeah, it's looking like we're only expected to make above 1,000 this coming turn. So let's train these guys, and, you know, just to kind of have some cav. It's going to be expensive, but that's all right.
Ready to slam.
The fleet's going to continue. Now, under normal conditions, I would sort of send a scouting fleet out ahead to accompany the army, and just make sure we're not going to be running into any enemy fleets. But I've been down here enough that I don't think there are any. I just haven't seen any boats in the region. Certainly not the Corsair Marauders and things that we had been seeing earlier. Alright, so there's a few loose armies in the area. But the garrison at Umbar looks lower than it was, if anything. Alright, so we want basically all of this territory eventually. Alright, I think we'll keep you there. You were headed north. And, see, I want Austin Agrelad, but the problem is, so does Adunabar. And I don't want them to be attacking me. Let's see, what can we get out of Lathron? It's a homeland, so we should be able to get, yeah, pretty decent stuff. Longbowmen, men-at-arms. That said, doesn't feel super pressing, although if we're attacked by Rohan, that would be another matter. All right, let's get the emissary over here. I want to find this settlement right here. Okay, so this is a Dunabar's settlement there. Just checking. We do need this as well as this ultimately. So at a certain point, either we're going to have to bribe settlements or do more diplomacy, or just suck it up and lose our protectorate and go to war with the Dunabar. Alright, we can bring this guy up about here, and let's bring the army back down. We'll set them on this bridge or on this ford and see if they attack us. Actually, let's do this one. We'll at least get reinforcements from Minas Ithil.
Yes, Captain.
Alright, here we've got some decent cavalry. We're just bringing everybody together here at Lynn here. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm going to move them down to like Umbar. I could. But I don't know that I will need to. So I really don't want Rohan to take this, but I don't see an alternative at the moment. The alternative is I take it, right? I diplomatically buy it, say off of a Dunabar to avoid a war, but then that boxes in Rohan to some extent. They could still go for like Rovanos, and they could go up here for the East Bite, but I'm worried that if I sort of cut ahead of them like that, they're going to attack me sooner rather than later. I think we do need Austin Agralad. Maybe not, actually. We needed Lathron for sure, but it doesn't say we need Austin Agralad. We need Barad-eden, we need London, and those are the two in Mordor that are absolute. But everything else we have. Of course, we need a total of 45. We're up to 33. Now, 2 of those are actually these 2 Protectorate settlements. They show up on this menu screen, but they actually, unfortunately, do not really count. In other words, if I were to get exactly 45 provinces according to this, I would not trigger a victory screen. I would need to take 2 more, and it would show 47 if my Protectorate has 2. So they seem to count to your provinces controlled, but they actually don't in terms of getting that victory screen. Now, how much that matters to you, I guess it is going to depend. For me, it's kind of disappointing, saying the least. All right, we're making a good amount of money again. Maybe they just invested some of their extra cash in some buildings or some troops, or maybe they had some generals come of age. Who knows? But we made more money than before. Up to 161. We're not getting it as much as we did before. All right, here we have some units in the ships. Yeah, but you know what? I've got units in ships. I've got guys in boats too. 2 can play at this game.
Yes, Captain. No more moves, sir. Yes, Captain. I
So maybe I'll just let them get a little further away, and then I'll start knocking those ships around. I think it's just a single fleet.
Yes, Captain. Onward.
Yeah, I should actually just train up a bunch of these guys and replace all of the Kingdom Militia with these Footmen of Harad levies, because it's like half the cost, and the Kingdom Militia are pretty decent fighters. All right, so where did that Haradrian army go? This is the game we're playing right now. Where is Harad's army hiding?
Honor at once, without delay. Out of moves. Yes, Captain. Sir, march. Combining troops. Forward. Move out.
Well, I didn't get ambushed anywhere. Okay, they've got armies pointing down here. If I take this, the other problem, okay, Rohan may not attack me for it, right? In fact, they may have lots of turns ahead of them fighting, you know, Dunland or Tharbad or whatever. And I could start them at a war with Tharbad, which would actually probably be kind of nice. Get them channeled over here to the west. The bigger problem right now is a Dunabar, because if they attack me, as we've said, we're very likely to lose our Protectorate. And if I take this settlement from a Dunabar, I think they need it for victory, and it certainly is kind of a linchpin of their territories around here. So I think we will avoid taking that for right now. We'll just see what happens. We could buy it off Rohan at some point if we really want it. But let's see what we can spend our money on. So we just went with some cheap stuff. Construction charter in minus honor, and we're working on specialization buildings in M and Arnen. Okay, yeah, Rohan's moving east to Rovenost. Good. And we also did train some stuff. Got some King's Spearmen down here. So they're just a good unit to have around. We are also getting some more Rangers of Athelion. I'm going to go for some more of these Spearmen. And maybe we'll get down here. We can actually go all the way around, or close to, and get near the bridge. I guess I could pull these guys out of Minas Ithil. Alright, we lost an emissary up here. I think that's fine, though. But I also noticed that Dale is coming back, and we got a big chunk of tribute last season. Geez, sometimes it's, you know, above 10,000 a turn. Sometimes it's more like 2. But pretty reliable income, so I'm glad we have not lost that Protectorate just yet. Let's put my king up here. I know this is a little controversial. Eventually these guys are going to die of old age, right? And then we can bribe their measly armies. Okay, but we do have a problem. Now we share a border up here. They've taken this. Let's get the spy up. Alright, it's pretty weak. Do we have an emissary in here? We do inside here, but he's getting old. Let's keep him up there as a deterrent for bribery for now. I guess we can send the turn for Vane guy over. But how about we train one right here? A fresh emissary. And it looks like Tharbad is causing unrest problems inside 3 ways. I guess we can retrain these guys. That'll help with the public order somewhat. We're making enough money that I'm thinking about we'll do a bit of spending. I think I definitely want to keep 3 ways. So let's see. I mean, we could turn it into a training, but the population is so low. So something for public order would be good. This is actually going to hurt public order because it's a shadow cult settlement initially. You know what would be good is, I think, an herbalist. That's going to help public order a little bit. It's also going to hurt land tax by 80. That's going to be somewhat offset by the mismanagement loss, and the population growth is going to help income indirectly through, you know, taxes. Okay, we've still got some big armies out east, not really moving very much.
Ready to sail. Aye, Captain.
Alright, why can I not land over here? Oh, it's all cliffs? Is that new? Ugh. Alright, can I land... I can land there. I can land right here. Oh, that's frustrating. Well, we'll do it. Hey, surprise, guys. Grab a couple of these mercenaries, and we'll get our boats just around, just to keep an eye on things. Let's see where those fleets are. Okay, they're right here. So, they're definitely starting something. I think I'm going to answer by first. That's just a new Miramar. This is a new Miramar. We'll bring them down to the island if that's where this boat ends up. Not convinced that it will. I guess we'll use this to attack it. They're neutral. Yeah, we'll do it. Alright, they're going way over here, which is kind of good. 15 men, I think this should sink them. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. In a sense. Okay, this army is making me feel comfortable here. So I think I will leave them for the time being. We can get them down south pretty easily. But let's grab an Alcarondas just to have it. And I don't want to see this army head up through Horondor's territory, because that would be pretty cheap. Okay, they really want a ceasefire. Yeah, sure, give me some more money. Okay, you know what? 10,000, and how about a settlement? How about give me, geez, I could ask for Umbar. Are they going to give it? Add trade into the mix? No. It's too generous. Even if I ask them for 10,000 Mirian and their, you know, their best city, it's still too good for them. All right, last season's report, very good for tribute again. And we're starting to lose family members. Well, one in Anphalis and an emissary in Upper Herodwaith. So we may want to replace him. Yeah, this army is now decided. It would be a good idea to head back here. Let's hit this one and then see if they end up withdrawing right next to Umbar. Oh, they're going in. Well, that's worse. Okay. I think we can deal with it at any rate. We could go for an Umbar. But now that the jig is up, I kind of don't feel like waiting around. This army can't reach us this season. What's inside here is at least a couple of spears, but also just some, you know, skirmishers. If I get this guy down... Okay, we can see there's a nobleman in here.
Captain, who shall die this
I think I want to be, like, here.
onward. Prepare for battle. Besieging settlement, sir.
All right, just a bunch of stuff, a bunch of equipment. And we've got more stuff trained. So taking a look then at what they have.
Ready to sail. Prepare for
Let's just clear the fleets out as usual.
victory. Ready to sail. Prepare for battle.
I don't think they have anything like armies.
Ready to sail. Prepare for battle. Victory! Fleet ready. Aye, aye, Captain. Prepare for battle. Victory!
All right, we'll get this one later. I think he's down there somewhere. And here we'll just put this as under blockade. Otherwise, things seem fine. Scheduled to make about 7 grand or so. Do we want to do anything here? We could try for peace, I guess, again. All right, fortunately, Austrian-Agerlad is not attracting anyone's attention. I'm a little disappointed, though, that Rune hasn't swept in. That would be kind of cool. Just to give us something different to fight. Alright, now what do we want to do about Foradrain? I think... Where did I train him from? Alright, I think in Numinas was where we got this guy. He's not the best emissary, but he'll do in a pinch. So we just need to make sure that we're not seeing any armies in the area and we're not about to get sneak attacked. But I think Adunabar's got their hands kind of full. I'm going to go right back here to the bridge so I can easily get out to the west in case Tharbad starts trouble. But we'll get this emissary here, and maybe we can bribe the settlement or take it and then gift it to some other faction, like the dwarves or the elves or something.
At your service. Secrecy is assured.
We've got 6 grand to spend. This guy looks like he is getting old, but he has a decent son in the army with him. And this guy's good. I should actually put this on its local governance so he gets happier about his liege. Let's see what his opinion of liege is. It's supportive currently, so that's good. No penalties and some, decent bonuses. But this will go up next season because he is attuned. So let's go with construction charter here, I think. I think we can get some stone out of Anumenes. Or maybe it's iron over here in the hills. We'll see what the options are. And in Emmett Arnon, we did go for the specialization, the city development, and we haven't really looked at these yet. Let's take a look at what our options are. So we've got some financial stuff, terracing, but a lot of these are not available currently. So let's see what we can make right now. The King's Court, what would that do? That would get us some extra experience for King Spearmen. So there's that. It would also give us some law bonuses and happiness. I don't feel like we need that. It's going to be expensive to maintain, but in sort of Outlands, I think that's a decent option. Guild of Weaponsmiths will give us +2 to armor. That would be good, especially with the kind of units we're training out of here. It's Rangers, it's going to be the White Company. We're going to pretty much focus on this because this is the only place we can train this out of Emmett Arnon. But in the meantime, we can train lots of other stuff. If we feel like we need to take a couple of turns off from Rangers, it'd be good to have our buffed armor on the other guys too. This is going to be pretty expensive, but does help happiness. Royal Mint is another option. Increases trade. And Aorling Horse Traders, interestingly. We can get them here. That allows Gondorian Horsemen with extra experience and King's Horsemen, which we haven't seen. And they do have a unit card. It's just sometimes when you look at it through the building browser type thing, it doesn't display correctly. But King's Horsemen are a Lancer unit. And so they're quite good. It'd be good to have some melee options. Let's see how much we'd be able to make out of the Royal Mint and see if that's worth it. It doesn't look it. Even with the fact that we've got contiguous borders with ourselves, so we're basically trading with every possible nearby settlement. The trade bonus here is not spectacular. We don't do a lot of trade in Emmett Arnon. So I'm thinking about going for the Guild of Weaponsmiths. Now that's going to cost like 300 or so, but it's going to help our armor, so I think it's worth it. Bjornings really want trade, but I'm not interested. And Adunabar does as well. And so far, they've been very, very compliant, peaceful neighbors. And this army of Harad, I don't know what they're trying to do. Well, I think I know. They're probably going for like Pelargir or Linhir or Dol Amroth. And, that's fine, I guess. I don't think they're gonna have a lot of luck, but I am glad that I left this army at Linhir so I can face them if that does happen. Now here, we've got an army of Harad approaching us, but they're not going to get here in time because hopefully we'll have Umbar City by the end of the turn. Okay, we're still training those guys out of Harngond. We lost our noble down here. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, is he he was our heir, wasn't he? Yeah, he was the Knights of Dol Amroth unit. That's really too bad. Okay, but we got a new heir, this guy, who is actually not the commander, but he is a Dunedain. So that's good, I guess. He's of the House of Galador. I don't know what that is. Let's take a look at that again. House of Galador, first Prince of Dol Amroth. Okay, so it makes sense. He's related to the guy who was from Dol Amroth. I'm not quite sure that I'm happy with the crown of the Reunited Kingdom passing into the Dol Amroth family, but it's, you know, it's better than some of the alternatives. In the last season, we're holding steady at 11 grand of tribute. All right, let's just take care of some other business first.
Sir. Orders.
I can see that Rohan has taken Rovanos, and it's just a mess up here of all these little armies. But they are sort of trying to face off against Adunabar. I would love to think that this would rebel, but I think because Rohan is a Northman faction, they're going to have an easy time holding this. Still that Adunabar settlement up there they could go for, but they seem to be kind of interested in heading down this way. Okay, but I am just not comfortable with Adunabar having a border on Turn for Vane, but also Fornost. So we've got to get rid of this this settlement that they own. I guess I don't have to use that particular emissary. We can get... who is the guy? We had someone up here who had like decent decent traits, I thought. But he may have died of old age. Was it this guy? Yeah, it was this guy. Letter from the king. Okay, so we want Forodrain.
I shall speak with them at once.
Demand province. Let's take that. I will give you, let's say, 5,000 for it. All right, they want 12,000 in trade. How about just 12,000? All right, we got Forodrain. Now, I also don't think we can keep this, unfortunately, because we don't want, well, we don't want Adunabar to just turn around and take it right back. They have some forces around here. They've got armies. They did not manage to take this fort, but they still have Mount Graham. So until we can deal with that, I think we're going to give Forodrain to another faction. And the elves would make sense. I know it's Arnor North, but it's close enough to Rivendell that I think if we have an emissary at all near them, which we might not actually. Let's go through all of our emissaries. This guy in Southern Rovanion, no elves. Minus Ithel. Well, we could give it to the dwarves. Let's just do that. I'm going to give you Forodrain. And I'll give you a couple thousand. All right. Now we're going to get those units back. And I'll just send them over in this direction. They can be used for garrison or whatever.
Yes, Captain.
Or if we feel the need to build forts or something, I guess we can do that. But now we've got a bit of a buffer, again, between us and Adunabar. Now we still have to watch for Forochel, because they could take that. But hopefully the dwarves won't lose this. And I think we will call this the episode. When we come back, we're going to be besieging Umbar and hopefully taking it for ourselves. See you then.